Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Cheat Code Jiu-Jitsu. Jeff here again. We're working our lockdown underhook path. We worked in the last video some ways to get the underhook, but in order to do anything with the underhook, we need to be on our side. We don't need to be flat on our back. A lot of people don't like working lockdown because they feel as though getting into lockdown locks them down flat on their back. That is not necessarily true. There's a lot of ways you can set up lockdown, from looking at some of our previous videos where you can go directly into underhook on your side. But if you've got a guy who's on top of you, who's already doing a good job of flattening you out, it gets you down, you're not able to get to your side easily, but you were able to fight maybe with your jaws of life into your underhook, got some ways to get you off of your back and onto your side so that you can get moving with your half guard sweeps, and we can start down that path. So stay tuned. Okay, so worst case scenario, I've got my lockdown in place. I didn't have my underhook. Chad was able to get it. From our last video, we use our jaws of life, we push up, I'm able to get this down. I get to my underhooks, but unfortunately for me, I'm still flat on my back. So, bad news for me. So, the most basic way that has been taught for a long time to get up is the whip up. This is the sort of the companion move, if you would say, to the whip down, which we showed in our last video. So the way that I was always taught to do it is we start with our double underhooks. I'm looking to put him high. He doesn't really have much of an option for a whizzer here because I'm flat on my back, but he's going to throw one in a minute. So I start off high with my double underhooks, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to release my underhooks, and then both my hands are going to go down here. Exactly where they go is going to be partially dependent on your opponent and partially dependent on you and how long your arms are. Typically, I like to aim for either the armpit or the floating ribs, somewhere around here. I'm going to release, these hands are going to go down here, and then I'm going to kind of bench press Chad up a little bit. I don't want to push him out to max extension. I just want to get his weight up a little bit off of me. And then with my lockdown, I'm going to do a somewhat similar motion to what we did with the whip down. I'm going to pinch, and then my knees are going to come up. And if I do this correct, Chad should be kind of coming up my body a little bit up in the air. Not too bad. So double underhooks, release, grab at the ribs, and then pull up. Now obviously he's not floating at this point, but he is at least up kind of off the ground with his weight on top of me. Now, what I want to do from here is I'm going to turn in this direction to kind of put him down. So now I'm on my side, I've got my underhook in place. Obviously my underhook is not in an optimal position right now, but this is ultimately where I want to end up, is on my side with the underhook. Now, this is a lesson for the people who are going to be playing the top position here. Chad did two things that are really important, and you need to make sure that you do every single time you drill this with your training partners. Number one, he based out. He spread this knee out a little bit so he didn't just fall over. And number two is he put that whizzer in place. If I whip Chad up and he doesn't put that whizzer in place, I'm just going to take his back every single time. The other problem comes, let's rewind. So let's assume this time I'm going to do the exact same motion, except this time Chad's going to leave this knee in place and he's not going to base it out. See how he just falls over? Now we dealt with this on the whip down video, where you're going to get that where the guy will fall on the side every now and then. You can even catch really good guys with that every now and then if they're really dedicated to that underhook. This though, you're not going to ever get a good guy who's just going to flop over like that. Good guys are going to base their knee out, and they're not just going to let you take them over. So it's very important for you, as the guy on bottom, when your partner whips you up and then puts you to your side, that you always base out and always put that whizzer in place to make sure that you're doing a good job. Because if you got a guy that you're actually rolling with in a live roll and you whip them up and they just flop over like that, stop watching these videos, because you don't need anything I'm about to show you. You can probably just sneeze on the guy and he's going to go over. Okay, so make sure to be a good training partner, base out, put the whizzer in place, and make sure you keep the guy honest. But at least now from the whip up, I'm up on my side, I've got my underhook in place, my hand is out here in front, I'm ready to go. Okay, so that's the easy way. Well, easiest, I guess I should say. I prefer to do it that way if I possibly can. Sometimes we get in here and I got a guy like Chad and I'm really trying to get down here, and even though I got my double underhooks in place, he's just not giving me any room to move at all, and I just can't get down here and properly whip him up to get going. Even though I can get this up, I just can't move him because I can't get my hands in place. So what I go to at that point is a mini shrimp. So if I were to do a big, huge, dramatic shrimp crawl out of this, I would take myself way far away from him, and realistically in this position, I don't have enough room to move anyway, so I probably wouldn't be able to do that. But a tiny little mini shrimp will help me get on my side. So I'm going to show this from both sides, from this angle. So from looking at this from the far side, you can look at the footwork here. I'm actually going to break my lockdown a little bit. This foot, the outside foot, is going to stay in place because that's the key to getting the lockdown back. But I'm going to release this a little bit and go to the ground. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to plant on this heel and use that to push up and then just a little bit out. Now I'm not all the way to my side yet, but I'm using my underhook here to kind of lift Chad up, and the combination of those two things helps to kind of get me out on my side just a little bit, and then a little bit more, and then a little bit more. And I can keep going, and then I can get my lockdown back in place, all because I left this here. And now I end up on my side in more or less the same position. So now let's check this from the other side. Okay, so same kind of deal. I've got my double underhooks. I'm looking for my mini shrimp. Now my footwork is going to be basically the same, just in reverse. You can push this out a little bit, plant, lift here, and then mini shrimp. You may have to do this twice, it may take 3 times, it may take 4 times, you never know, but plant again, and then retie the lockdown. That's one of the more effective ways that I get, because it just takes those little tiny movements, those tiny adjustments, and it's good to, even if you don't do that a ton to get yourself up onto your side, it's good to know that little mini shrimp movement where you're just kind of moving yourself under somebody who's putting a lot of weight down on you, because that movement can apply in a lot of different situations. It also opens up a couple of sweeps. We're not really going to go super in depth on them at this point, but just as sort of an example, if Chad's got me down here and I'm flat and I go to mini shrimp, he may try to reset by just pushing his hips over to the side and flattening me out. And then mini shrimp again, and he keeps doing that. Well, if I've got my underhook tight in place and I can mini shrimp and he goes for that again, if I can get myself in a butterfly hook, I can take him over. And I use a sweep similar to that a few different times when I got guys resetting their hips on top of me over and over again. I can kind of use their momentum against them. So between the whip up and the mini shrimp, both of those can help you get to your side if you're not already there. And then once we get up to our side, there's a ton of different sweep options that are available, and we're going to start covering those next time. So add those into your game. Play that along with the whip down, which is a fantastic way to get your underhook. But if you got the jaws of life, then you add these in, get up to your side, and we can start sweeping. So if you like the video, make sure you hit that like button, helps me out a lot. Subscribe to the channel, and make sure you turn on all notifications so you get a notification every time we upload a new video. I'll see you guys next time. Thanks.